Hi and welcome to my channel. We're going to do another tutorial, and today's tutorial is going to be how to use sublimation to make car decals. Let's get started. The first thing we want to talk about is what items you are going to need. You're going to need your printer with sublimation ink, sublimation paper. We're not going to go through all of the things you need for sublimation. I did that in another video. I will put it in the cards right here. You can go and check that out. For this specific project, you're going to need your Oracal 651 sticker, adhesive, vinyl, the stuff. For this project, I've cut this piece to fit the project. It's actually a scrap. It's a little bit bigger, but that doesn't matter. You're also going to need laminating pouches. Make sure what you're buying is thermal. If it's not thermal, it is not going to work. They do sell this at Walmart and Target and office supply stores. I got this at Walmart. You get it there, as long as it's thermal, it should work. I do have a friend who has bought laminating film at Walmart. I meant Amazon. I think you can find it on Amazon. I've only used this stuff right here, and it will work. And you're going to need your heat press. So we're going to get started. Here you see I have my image on screen. Once it is selected, you can click the offset button up top. So I do that, I bring it over to me. I'm going to make sure my offset I want at 0.125. I'm going to click apply. And that gives me my offset. Now, what you do is separate these two, and you're going to print this one. I'm going to move the offset out of the way. You're going to print this one and cut this one. To print, you're going to make sure you right click, flip horizontally for printing. For cutting, you're going to leave this one as is. I had already sized my image to what I wanted. Normally for my car decals, I have been running them between 5 and 6 inches. This one I actually sized to 5.5 inches wide. And make sure when you are sizing, you size your offset, because that is going to be the exact size of your car decal. Granted, if you do size the print, just remember it will be a little bit bigger when it's completely finished. So I have my print, it's already ready. Once this is print, you want to cut it out. You want to cut close to the edge, as close as you can. Now, for the actual process, we're going to have to laminate the 651. Now, these pouches, these are meant to laminate sheets of paper, so they do come, adhered together. So what you need to remember is that the thermal side is on the inside, right? And you can tell by looking at it, the outer side is shiny and the inside is a little more matte. Now what I did with this one obviously is I cut it off. You see it right here. So I cut it off, and it is a little bit bigger, but that's okay. So I'm going to take this to the heat press. I have my heat press set like I normally would for sublimation. It's at 400 degrees, and I'm going to let this sit for a minute. So I have my 651. It is off of the heat press. I set it on a sheet of copy paper, and if you pull it off right away, you can kind of remove that paper, but this has been sitting for a couple minutes, and it's on there kind of good, so I'm gonna have to cut it away. Literally, I'm just gonna cut the edges of the 651. This piece of 651 is too big for my image, so it doesn't matter if I cut a little bit off. I'm going to cut this out and come right back. Now that's all cut away. This is what it looks like. The paper did come completely off, so there's no copy paper sticking around. It did come all the way off. And this is my 651, and it is curved. Now, to help me with this curving, I do make a little, almost like a packet you know, a little packet thing. I don't know what you call it. We're having a good time here, right? So what I do is I slide it in. I slide the 651 in, and I can set it into the heat press, and it'll flatten it back out to get it ready to cut. So I'm going to do that really quick. Now that it is flat, I'm going to get my mat ready to cut, and I'm going to take you guys to the computer screen to show you what the cut file looks like. This is my cut file ready to go. I'm going to make sure it's selected, and you guys know how to cut by now. You should be familiar. What is important is to know what to select. You were going to go over to your, I don't know what you call this. I know I sound like a professional, but you are going to select cardstock glitter as your setting. Maybe that's what it's called, a setting. The force will be at 33. The speed is set to 3. The depth is set to 6. It did it automatically, and it's going to do 2 passes. I'm going to click send, and there we go. This is what it looks like. Doesn't look very different from 651. One of the main things is it does cut all the way through. So you're left with your car sticker, except without the sublimation. That is the last piece of this puzzle. So you have your cut. This is your cut file. I know it looks backward on camera, but you do cut it. You don't mirror reverse for this file, because your mirror reverse paper is going to set on it, you know what I mean, just like you would regular adhesive vinyl where you don't mirror reverse it. So you have your 2 pieces. This was the offset. This is the offset that I cut, and this is the image that I printed. The last thing to do is to take your heat tape, and then you are going to line it up. You do have an offset, so remember that you have an offset, and it doesn't have to be perfect. The offset does give you a little bit of wiggle room. That is the reason why I do an offset. That way you're not having to line it up perfectly. So I have my heat tape, and it's about to go onto the heat press. And this is another reason why I like this little sleeve that I made, that I can take my sticker and I can kind of tape it to the sheet, and then I have a nice little cover, just like we would, you know, with parchment paper or butcher paper, you know, as a protectant. So this is going to slide right into the heat press. I can't talk. And then we'll have the big reveal. I didn't say this when I went to put on the press, but it's a sublimation project, and it stayed for 1 minute. I'm sorry I didn't say that ahead of time. But 1 minute later, and a couple seconds to let it cool off, here's the big reveal. I'm working on it off camera, I promise. And that is what it looks like. How awesome is that? And then you have your little sticker. So cute. So cute. I love it. I love it, love it. So I do want to review, because this is a multi-step process. Step 1, you are going to print your image mirror reverse. Step 2, you are going to cut out that image as close to the edge as possible. Step 3, you're going to laminate your piece of 651 that you've already cut out. Make sure it's a little bit bigger than your image. Step 4, you're going to cut that laminated piece of 651. The setting is cardstock glitter. And step 5, you're going to take your image that has been cut out. You are going to heat tape it to the the laminated 651 that has been cut, and you're going to press it for 1 minute. And then you have your laminated, sublimated car decal. One more thing I would like to mention before we wrap up this video, and that is to do larger images with this method. I did this method with stickers that were 2 and 3 inches, and it didn't go well. So this process is good for car decals and stuff that may be bigger than that. I appreciate you sticking it out throughout the length of this video. I hope it helped. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you try it. If you do, let me know in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.